Okay, guys, Adam Trigger here. It is Monday morning. It's time to talk some Major League Baseball. Quick programming note, no total bases today. Your go-to show for free Major League Baseball picks on the WagerTalk YouTube channel. Total bases will be back tomorrow morning and every day the rest of this week at 9 a.m. Eastern on Tuesday. Short slate in MLB today. There's only 7 games, and I'm going to break 2 of them down in detail for you right here. So let's get right into it. We're going to start things off with the Detroit Tigers heading to the Windy City to take on the Chicago White Sox. The Tigers, man, they're an interesting team because on paper, they are not the best team in baseball from a talent standpoint. There's 5 teams off the top of my head that I can say unequivocally have more talent than this Tigers team. With that being said, they very well may be the most complete team from like a baseball perspective. If you go to just from coaching, all the intangibles, they've got it. And it's why they're where they are, 39-21 this year. That's what happens when you do all the little things right, when you have a manager that knows how to push the right buttons, when you have pitching and defense, you can get to that point with the lineup that they have. So credit to the Tigers for doing that. With that being said, I think you're going to see value in playing against the Tigers when they start to get favored in the range that they're favored here, meaning you can take the +1.5 on the other side and get it at a reasonable price. Why do I like the +1.5? Well, I think the way the Tigers are set up, it sets them up to win a lot of close games, right? Like this is the price range here. Tigers being close to a $2 favorite on the road is something you start to see. You know, that's what I think of, like maybe like the Dodgers when they're really good, or some of these like really upper echelon teams with loaded lineups. I'm not talking about this year, but I'm talking about in years past. Whereas the Tigers, I still don't think they're that. Now, they find ways to win, and that's why they're 39-21, but they're going to win a lot of games by 1 run. That's just how they're built. Coming into the year, they said, we're setting this team up, pitching and defense, and we'll figure out the offense. I thought that was kind of crazy, but now looking back on it, it's pretty genius. They play to their strengths. AJ Hinch is a tremendous manager. It's all about pitching and defense for the Tigers. They've played back-to-back 1-0 games. They've won 6 of their last 7 games, and they haven't won a single game by more than 2 runs. So 5 straight games the Tigers have won by 2 runs or less. So they're playing in a lot of close games, and now that the prices are starting to shift, the +1.5 gives you the ability to still cash your ticket, even if you lose a close game. Of course, you've got to keep it within a run. That is very appealing in my opinion here. So as far as the matchup is concerned today, you've got Jack Flaherty for the Tigers. He was dominant last time out against the Giants, but he hasn't been quite that dominant this year. If you look at his last 7 starts prior to the shutout against the Giants, he was averaging more than 3 earned runs in a start. And he has given up at least 2 earned runs in all 7 of those starts. So he has given up some runs. I do think the underlying numbers for him are decent. But the Tigers are going to look for length from him here, because that's the other thing. The Tigers, I think you want to look for 2 spots to play against them, if you want to play against them at all. The first spot is going to be when they start to get priced as this $2 favorite option, and then playing the +1.5 because they play a lot of close games. The second spot is when they start to wear out their bullpen. Remember, this is a team that right now, at least once a week for the most part, is sort of going with a bullpen type game. So when they win a couple close games, and then they've used a game where maybe they do an opener followed by like a bulk guy, 3 innings, and then 4 or 5 relievers, you're going to have spots where this bullpen you're at the back end of this bullpen. That's kind of how I feel here. They've logged a ton of bullpen innings over the last 4 or 5 days. Every game's been close. So they've had a lot of high leverage relief innings. So you're getting a little bit of built-in value playing against them, because they're not going to have their optimal, after Flaherty here, let's say he goes 6, 7, 8, 9 might not be their optimal 7, 8, 9 if everyone was healthy. On the other side, Jonathan Cannon is becoming a reliable option. So, if you look at what this guy's done since being called up to the big leagues, and I want to point out, he was called up and thrown into the fire. He was at AAA Charlotte early last year, and they just sort of went, wow, we're bad. Like the White Sox. We might as well just get these guys up. They threw Cannon right into the mix, and he responded in his rookie season, going made 24 starts, 4.49 ERA, 1.33 WHIP. Very strong season, all things considered. He kind of got off to a slow start this year, but I go back and look at April. A lot of bad weather, tough element type games, like between the weather in Chicago and then playing at Detroit, at Boston, at Cleveland. I mean, this is a kid from Georgia who plays college baseball at Georgia and played most of his minor league baseball down in the South. So I just look at some of those starts, a lot of walks. Like, I just don't think he was super comfortable in some of those early starts in bad weather, cold, wind, rain. I think he may have even pitched in snow at one point. The point is, the numbers have been much better in May, 3.77 ERA, 1.26 WHIP. He's really cut down on the walks since then as well. Now, he still allows a few too many base runners for my liking, and the Tigers are as good as any at cashing chances like that in. But Cannon's been good enough, a lot of competitive pitches. The walks are down. I think he's going to keep the White Sox in this game. Right now, you can get the White Sox plus 1.5 at plus money, plus 105. I think that's a reasonably good look for a game on Monday's short slate. I've got a play up for Monday. Nice start to the month of June for me. I've got back-to-back 4% winners in Major League Baseball. And June was my best month of the year by far last year in MLB. Had a huge month of June, actually the year before as well. I don't know if there's anything to that or not. I certainly hope there is something to that, and we can keep it going again this year. At any rate, back-to-back winners in MLB. I'll be going for my third straight tonight, and you can find that at the WagerTalk YouTube channel. Total bases back tomorrow, 9 a.m. Eastern. We'll be knocking out an hour worth of free picks and MLB content for you. And we're back for the rest of the week, 9 a.m. Eastern, WagerTalk YouTube channel. My favorite show to do. Was sad we didn't get to do it this morning. So looking forward to seeing you guys 9 a.m. tomorrow. As far as today is concerned, let's talk one more game. Mets, Dodgers. I'm over the whole had to play Sunday night thing. It is totally irrelevant to me at this point. And the only time it's going to be relevant is if there's some crazy travel. I think it's an overrated angle that gets talked about too much. The Dodgers played at home last night. They're playing at home tonight. It shouldn't even be something that's brought up at this point. The Mets, on the other hand, they're the ones with the tough travel here. They played a home game at Citi Field yesterday afternoon against the Rockies. They will be playing in Los Angeles, California tonight. That is travel that's notable, having to do the cross-country trip with no off day. The Mets didn't look great this weekend. I watched a lot of their series with the Rockies. They won all three games, and they won all three games by 2 runs or more. But it wasn't like that. They didn't look the sharpest that they've looked all season. I think they sort of just got by on being that much better than a historically bad Rockies team. And then I kind of look back to last week. Who did the Mets play? White Sox, Rockies? Lost a game didn't look good in that White Sox series either. Going to be a kind of a step up here. You know, going from playing the White Sox and the Rockies all week last week at home to now playing the Los Angeles Dodgers, Chavez Ravine. That's a big step up. And with the Mets maybe not playing their sharpest, I think you could maybe consider playing against them here. Something I want to point out in this one. The Mets, 37 and 22. But I feel like they've played probably their best or close to their best for a lot of the season to get to that point. They haven't had any like massive injuries. And I think that's sort of like they've played to expectations in my opinion. The Dodgers, on the other hand, I feel like have played at about 70%. They've had a ton of injuries to their pitching staff. They've had guys like Teoscar Hernandez out of the lineup. And they're 36 and 23 with like significant injuries. And you don't even notice it because there's still 13 games over 500. If the Mets had the injuries the Dodgers have had, they would be a sub 500 team. I really, truly believe that. If they have had the caliber of player that the Dodgers have had out for as long as they've been out, especially with the pitching, they wouldn't be 13 games over 500. Why do I bring that up? Because I just think I don't think the Dodgers have even reached close to what the ceiling of this team is yet. And I think right now, as they get some of their pitching back, maybe is the time to look to take a shot and try to bet them when they're priced reasonably. Now, Are they priced reasonably today? The number's probably about right. Minus 160, minus 150, minus 160. I think my 160 is probably across the board right now. So I don't know that you're getting a bunch of line value here, but I certainly see the reasons to sort of look at the Dodgers as an option. I also think my handicap, when we're all said and done, is going to make the over make sense as well. It's Dustin May for the Dodgers. He's someone that has not been healthy his entire career. So that's like something when you look at his career, this guy has not made, he debuted in 2019, has not made more than 14 appearances in the regular season in any year of his career. Any year, hasn't made more than 14 appearances in the regular season, has his derailed by injury virtually every year. This year, he'll probably break that. This is going to be his 11th start of the season. But I do think it's like notable that it feels like he's taken something off a little bit. I think he looks at his career of injuries and has probably went back to the drawing board and said, I've got to find a way to pitch and also be healthy and get to like the end of the season so I can help this team. The numbers and the stuff is not quite as good as it was. Like pandemic Dustin May was insane. He's still good. Like the strikeout stuff is creeping back in. Last 3 starts, 8, 8, and 9 for strikeouts. So it's definitely there. But I do think he's like more of a, ERAs in the low 4s. He's going to give something up, but he's going to give you 6 pretty strong innings. And I fully expect him to have the Dodgers in position to win this game. On the other side, I don't know if you really know what you're going to get from the Mets from a pitching standpoint, because you got Paul Blackburn making his first major league start since last year. Now, Paul Blackburn has been down at AAA in the minors rehabbing since like mid-April. But this is a guy that had spinal fluid like leaking in his back last year. He never thought there was a point in time during the offseason where it looked like his career might be over. So back injury puts him on the IL. They find out it's a spinal fluid thing. So the fact that he is going to now step foot on a major league mound, awesome for Paul Blackburn. I don't know if it's awesome for the Mets not giving up runs in this game, but that's fantastic for him. He was really good in his last couple AAA starts. That being said, there is a big difference between the Rochester Red Wings lineup, the Iowa Cubs lineup, and the Los Angeles Dodgers lineup. And that's where I think maybe he, is in for a little bit of a rude awakening in that regard. I can't see him getting through this order multiple times without getting hit. That being said, I wouldn't be that surprised if the Mets did something. So I do think the Dodgers money line, if you had to play a side in this game, is the way to go. I think the better bet here might be the over. I feel like you're going to get some offense in this game. Up until last night, the Dodgers have been pounding Yankees pitching this weekend. Wouldn't be surprised to see them, put up a couple crooked numbers here. But the Mets very, very well could return the favor. Like I said, May stuff isn't quite as wipeout as it used to be, and this Mets lineup is very good. So 2 free picks for Monday. White Sox plus 1.5, and then the over, I think it's maybe 9, probably over 9 in this Dodgers-Mets game. If you want my 4% client play MLB best bet as we go for 3 in a row, that's going to be up on my page at WagerTalk, wt.buzz/AT. Missed you guys this morning, but don't worry. We'll be back tomorrow, 9 a.m. Eastern, total bases, right here on the WagerTalk YouTube channel. Can't wait to see you guys in the morning. Good luck tonight. Cash all your tickets.